And just as with objects, there is not only one way to create an array. But in general, we only look at two ways to create an array. We look at an array literal, and that's just using opening and closing square brackets. And the second way is to use an array constructor. And yes, we've got to use the new keyword there as well. Let's have a look at a few examples. What better way to learn than examples? So let's start looking at the different ways to create arrays. So first, let's use the array literal. And this is the easiest way to create an array. And the most simple array is, let's just call it A. A for array. And if we console log A out, you can see we've got an array. How easy is that? We can also create an array with values. So let's define a variable called animals, and it's define different values: dog, cat, and a mouse. And if we console log that to the screen, actually I don't have to use console log in this case, I can just type animals, and there we go. We've got an array with dog, cat, and mouse. And remember how we said an array is an object, and we went further by saying you can even put objects within an array. Well, let's show an example of that. So let's call our array here people. And remember, with an array, you have to have opening and closing square brackets. And now we want to put objects into this array. How do we define an object? That's right, with curly braces. And let's just say name equals Wally. And let's do another one. Let's call this one John. And let's do one more and name her Cindy. And if we console people out, there we go. You can see it's an array because it's enclosed within square brackets, and it's got these objects within it. Okay, that is array literal. Let's now see array constructor. And with the array constructor, you have to use JavaScript's built-in array object, and you have to call it with the new keyword. Let me show you what I mean. So let's define house, and let's use the constructor way to do it. Now you just need to put in the values in this constructor. So I don't know, we could call it a 3-bedroom. Its color's red, and it's got 3 bathrooms. If we console this out, we should see an array with opening and closing square brackets with these values within it. So there you go, there's house, and there's the opening and closing square brackets, and there are the values in it, just as we would expect. But using the array constructor can cause weird results. Let me show you an example. If you're wanting to do an array of numbers, it's pretty straightforward. New array, and let's just have numbers 5 and 10. And if we console log this out, I would expect to see an array with values 5 and 10. You've got it. And we do see that in this instance. But if we just wanted to have an array with one number, it causes weird results. Have a look at this. So let's say we've got a new array called figures, and we just want that to be the number 7. If we console log that out, what would you expect to see? Well, I'd expect to see an array with just the number 7. But in this case, it's actually going to give us something different. It's going to give us an empty array with 7 empty blank spots. I'll show you what I mean. Figures, and there it is. It hasn't given us what we expected. So for me, I just tend to use the array literal approach. It's very intuitive, very easy. Like I said, there's never one right way to do something in JavaScript. There's so many different things you can do, and depending on your situation, you may want to use one or the other.